Hello my music friends, thanks for watching Harmony Hub. Today I will talk about intervals and focusing on the perfect major and minor intervals. What is an interval? An interval is actually the measurement of distance between two musical notes. For example, we are given two notes G and B. The interval in between G and B is a major third. And major right here is the modifier, and the numerical value here is the number. So there are two portions to an interval. Another example would be A and E. A and E is a perfect fifth. Perfect is the modifier, and fifth is the numerical value in between A and E. So today in this video, we will focus on the perfect major and minor intervals. So the terms perfect major and minor are actually the modifiers, which is the first portion of an interval. And then the abbreviations of these modifiers are, for perfect is the uppercase P, for major is the uppercase M, for minor is the lowercase m. I usually put a little dash above the lowercase m so that we can make a distinction between major and minor. And for the perfect modifier, we use it on these intervals, the unisons, the fourths, the fifths, and the octave. We don't use perfect on the other intervals. You will hear perfect fourth. You wouldn't hear perfect third or perfect sixth. For the major and minor modifiers, we use them on the seconds, the thirds, the sixths, and the sevenths. So major second, minor third, major sixth, minor seventh. There will never be a major fourth or minor fifth, because fourth and fifth, we use the perfect modifier for them. Right. As I mentioned before, an interval has two portions to it. The first part is the modifier, the second part is the numerical value in between two notes. For example, you see a lowercase m followed by a 2. We call it a minor second. We don't call it an M2. Or major second, major third, major sixth, minor seventh, perfect fourth, perfect unison, perfect fifth, perfect octave. We won't see this in interval. There's no perfect third, because for third we used the modifiers major or minor. Next, I will show you a method to figure out intervals. This method requires you to be able to count. So for the two portions of an interval, we will figure out the number portion of it first by using the musical alphabet, and then we will figure out the modifier using the half step chart, which will be shown in the later of the video. In figuring out the number portion of an interval, we do not care about the accidentals that are applied on the notes. We only care about the letters. For example, we're given an F and a D. I like to always count it from the bottom note. From the bottom note and then to the top note. F to D. From F to D. And then with the musical alphabet, you want to count it from left to right. If you are counting from the bottom note to the top note, you have to count it from the left to the right of the musical alphabet. So we are counting now. F would be 1, G2, A3, B4, C5, and D6. So from F to D, the number portion of the interval is a 6. Is a 6. As I mentioned before, to figure out the number portion of an interval, we do not care about the accidentals that are applied to the notes. So if we have F sharp to D, this will still be a 6. Because the letters are F and D, we ignore the sharp on the F. F sharp to D sharp would also be a 6. Okay, again, we ignore the sharps on the F and the D. We only worry about the letters itself. All of these intervals would be a 6. Let's do more examples. Let's say C to G. Okay, we'll count it from the bottom note, which is C. This is the top note, G. When we count from the bottom note to the top note, we count from left to right on the musical alphabet. So starting from C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to G. So this is a 5th. So all of the intervals from C to G, from C flat to G, C flat to G sharp, regardless of the accidentals, they are all a 5th. This would be a 5th. This would be a 5th. This will also be a 5th. Okay, I'm going to play the first 5th. Sounds like this. And then the second 5th. The third 5th. The last 5th. So they all sound a little different. So what do we do next is we have to figure out the modifier for each of these intervals. So to further narrow down to the specific interval that we are trying to figure out. To figure out the modifier of an interval, we will need the piano keyboard. If you are taking an exam, you need to be able to draw a piano keyboard pretty quickly. And this is the half-step chart that I mentioned earlier in the video. This is how you read the half-step chart. For example, once you have figured out the number portion of an interval, for example, this is a 3, this is a third. Now we have to figure out if this is a major third or minor third. Then you have to count the half steps in between the two notes. If there are 3 half steps in between the two notes, then it's a minor third. If there are 4 half steps, then it's a major third. To give you some examples, A to C. So if we use the musical alphabet method, A to C, want to figure out the number portion of an interval, is ABC, that is 3. So this is a third. Now we have to figure out the modifier for this third by counting the half steps in between them. So we have A and C, these are the two notes. Then we will count the half steps. From A to A sharp, this is one half step. From A sharp to B, this is the second half step. From B to C, this is the third half step. So there are three half steps in between A and C. We know this is a third. It's either going to be a major or minor third between these two. And between these two notes, there are three half steps. So we can now confirm that this is a minor third. Another example, let's say A and C sharp is still from A to C, so we know that this is a third, right? Regardless of the accidental applied on the C, we know this is a third, and we start from A, that is the bottom note, to C sharp, the top note. Now we count the half step. It's either going to be a minor or major third. First half step, second, third, fourth. So this third right here in between A and C sharp, there are four half steps. We know this is a third. There are four half steps. Then now we are sure this is a major third. Let's do another one. A flat to C. Well, again, it's A to C. We know this is a third. But we have to determine what kind of a third is that. What modifier do we use? So we have A flat to C. A flat is right here, and C, this is one half step. 2, 3, 4. There are four half steps. We know this is a third. It's either going to be a minor or major third. And there are four steps in between these two notes. Then, now we are sure that this is a major third. Let's do a couple more. Let's do some perfect intervals. For example, B flat and F. So if you count it up from B to F, we ignore the flat, just B to F is B, C, D, E, F. So this is a fifth. B flat is here, this is F. So let's count it up. This is the first half step, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. A fifth with 7 half steps is a perfect fifth. This is a perfect fifth. What about this? B to F sharp. B, F sharp. Well, we know B to F is a fifth. Now let's figure out the half steps in between them. This is half step 1, half step 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 half steps. This is a perfect fifth. Okay, let's do another one. This video we mainly focus on the perfect major and minor intervals, but what if this happens? We will talk more about this in future videos, but right now I'll just give you a little teaser on this. What if we are given these two notes, B and F? Well, again, it's a fifth, B to F. Let's count the half steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 half steps. And this is a fifth. So we have to figure out if it is a perfect fifth or a diminished fifth. D stands for diminished. A stands for augmented. Diminished fifth with 6 half steps. This is what we have. So this is a diminished fifth, which is 1 half step less than a perfect fifth. Okay, let's do one more. Well, since we have talked about diminished fifth, let me show you an example of an augmented fourth. We're given a C, an F sharp. So this is C, D, E, F. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is a fourth. This is a fourth. C and F sharp. Let's count the half steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 half steps in between C and F sharp. So it's not going to be a perfect fourth, it's going to be an augmented fourth, because an augmented fourth consists of 6 half steps. So this is an augmented fourth. So this is how you figure out the modifier for an interval. Now let's do more practice. Now on this page, you can see the musical alphabet is provided, so is the piano keyboard and the half step chart. For example, when you are taking a music theory exam, you are given these two notes, F sharp and D. Okay, F to D, we figure out the number portion of an interval first, and we count it from left to right, this direction. Disregard the sharp, so it will just be F, F, G, A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is a 6. And then now we have to figure out which 6 is this, major or minor. Now we'll use the piano keyboard, F sharp and D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. There are 8 half steps. So this is going to be a minor 6. A minor 6. Okay, what about this? You are given the top note first. It doesn't really matter because we always count from the bottom to the top note. B and C natural. So count from C. This is the bottom note now. The second note is the bottom note to the top note. We have C and B. Half step 1, half step 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There are 11 half steps in between C and B. And we already figured out that this is a 7th for the number portion. 7th, and it has 11 half steps. So this is a major 7th. Okay, what about C to E flat? We figure out the number part of the interval. C and E, so it's C, D, E. C, D, E. So this is a third. C to E flat. There's 1 half step, 2 and 3 half steps. So in between minor third and major third, this is a minor third because these two notes consist of 3 half steps. So this is a minor third. If you understand all of these concepts, how to figure out the number portion of an interval and the modifier portion of an interval, you should be able to figure out all of the perfect major and minor intervals. You might even be able to figure out some of the augmented or diminished intervals, which we'll talk about in future videos. Now, what is my favorite interval? I can tell you that my favorite interval is the minor third. It sounds like this. This is E flat and C. It has this dark quality to it. If I were to write something up real quick, on the right hand part, this is what you should hear. It's repeated 4 times, this pattern. It's repeated 3 times, but you hear it 4 times. And then on the left hand is C, E flat. This is the right hand. Yes, it's mellow and dark quality. I don't think the bass is thick enough, so I'm going to have an octave doubling. Basically 2 same notes at different octaves. So now it sounds like this. I want this to be darker. So for the left hand, let's do this. An octave lower on the left hand. This is the original octave, but now it sounds like this. If I add in the right hand, so I might as well just write in the description of the music is dark. Let's say quarter note equals to 60. I'm going to play it as legato as I can, which means play it smoothly. I'm going to add slur to this gesture. And then I'm going to create waves of minor third, the same gesture, by using a hairpin. Hairpin meaning when we make a phrase convincing, we'll add a hairpin which looks like this. This is a hairpin. Basically, this is what we use to make a phrase convincing by having a crescendo and decrescendo. This is a very typical way to phrase a musical sentence. And now it sounds like this. Okay, on the right hand, I guess I can play it an octave higher, just so that the gap in between the left hand and the right hand materials are wider. I'm going to transpose it. Again. This is a short composition featuring the minor third intervals. Now it's my turn to ask you, what is your favorite interval? You can let me know by leaving it in the comment section on this video. Thank you so much for watching Harmony Hub. I hope to see you again in the next video, and have a nice day.